girl sitting at home who's watching this, like what advice would you have for them if they want to be a pro gamer?
He's just chasing her up from behind.
No, no, no!
Oh my God, Benita! She somehow still gets it.
Hi, my name is Benita. I am the in-game leader and captain of CLG Red Valorant. I'm 28 years old, born and raised in Los Angeles, and been gaming since 2003. I was gaming when I was like much younger. My first games was like Super Mario World, GoldenEye, Crash Bandicoot, Twisted Metal. Those games are all like 10 out of 10 to me. I have an older brother. We would game as like a way to spend time together. Like we would always play like just like all the consoles, like PlayStation, Nintendo, blah, blah, blah. He is 4 years older than me, so I did everything he did. Like I wanted to be like just like him. I just copied everything he did. And that's when he got like a Half-Life CD, I remember, from GameStop, and then like you can get like Counterstrike through that. When I was like 12 or 11, that's when I met Miss Harvey. And there was like a community on MIRC where it was just like a women's channel. It was called Womanation. That's how I met Miss Harvey. She kind of like just inspired and encouraged me to like keep playing and just being a part of that community. And she would always like have my back. So it made me feel like safe, or like she's like an older sister somewhat. It was a good feeling to have someone like that. It's not that I felt like I was good, but all of my surroundings would always tell me like, hey, like you're pretty good. Or like, hey, like for your age, like you're really good. So I just always like kept that with me, and that I loved playing, so I just kept playing. Counterstrike 1.6 was just a game that like sucked you in, to be honest. It's a game where like the mechanics and the feeling you get from playing just made you want to have better mechanics. Like you just always wanted to improve. I also really enjoyed like the skill gap. There were players where you could just tell like that they were really good. There was always that category you were trying to like strive to be in, but like Counterstrike 1.6 to me was like pure skill. My career highlights from Counterstrike would be probably just winning a lot of female tournaments, and we were just considered one of the best female Counterstrike teams ever in history.
And CLG clutched the round.
I do have the same focus that I did when I was younger, like traveling, like taking every opportunity, traveling to tournaments. So this is like just a box of my lanyards. I've kept every single thing I've ever been to. This was the Ukraine LAN, the Mexico one. This was in China. This was the Vegas LAN. A bunch of places I probably would never go to if I wasn't doing what I was doing. Letting go of Counterstrike and transitioning into Valorant, it's like when you're in like a toxic friendship or relationship. It had been like too long of a relationship with the game. I just really had to let it go. I loved Counterstrike and just in general and competing. But yeah, like in the beginning, CSGO was a terrible game. It was, if anything, more like Counterstrike Source. Not only did the game suck in the beginning, like towards the end, the community was just didn't like being a part of it. In Counterstrike 1.6, there was a team called Team 3D. Honestly, like a legendary team. I'm sure so many people know about it. Like it had players like K-Sharp, Rambo, Volcano. When I had heard that Volcano is a developer at Riot, I just kind of put two and two together, and I just knew that he was gonna take some of those like 1.6 mechanics and like a piece of that game and put it into this new FPS game, which is what automatically like just drew me into Valorant. I had received access to play Valorant on the first day when it launched at 5 a.m. It was the first time I had ever set an alarm to play a video game. It was like a very exciting moment to like be on my computer and just see like the Counterstrike community like come together at such a random time to play Valorant. I spent like the whole day playing Valorant. My first impressions of the game, like I was like blown away, to be honest. I thought it was so refreshing, so fun. The movement was very similar to 1.6, the dynamic of the game. It was just like very similar. I loved it. Right now, the meta of Valorant, I mean, it changes almost every patch. I'm starting to not appreciate it that much. I like that the game has an update every week, but like every other patch, there seems to be something changing about an agent where you have a whole new game on your hands. I really think this is what Valorant was supposed to be. But we're just so used to like the beta and like the beginning of the game that the meta right now just seems really a lot. It's supposed to be as creative and chaotic, and there's supposed to be like a bunch of different agents that are really good and just a bunch of different ways to play the game. In Counterstrike, there's things like map control, rotations, everything like that every FPS game has. There's just like so many things to think about in Valorant that you don't think about in any other game, which is probably what makes it so unique and interesting and fun.
I don't know how we're gonna do this.
Building a female team has been the biggest challenge of my life. My personality, I'm not like a natural leader. It's just like something that kind of fell in my lap. I came out of my comfort zone to build this team, and like still to this day, like I'm learning a lot of new things about like who I am or who I want to be or how I want to influence my teammates who aren't as experienced as me when it comes to competing. Honestly, I've never in my life seen as many females play an FPS game than Valorant. Whether it's casual streamers or competitors, or just, it doesn't matter like what category you're in, it has drawn so many girls in, and that's been the objective the whole time, is to have like that really strong community of female players. I think being picky is like a good and bad thing. Finding girls that have like a Counterstrike background was one of the things I was looking for, which made it really hard because there aren't many. My goals for the team is obviously like to be the best we could be. So far, every big female tournament in Valorant, we've gotten second place. So, you know what? I think that's great so far. We are obviously pushing for first. That's all I've kind of known in Counterstrike. I've gotten many first place, and that's where like that feeling comes from, is like having so many first place experiences.
What a start for CLG Red. Yeah, you could not have asked for a better start than that, Tom.
I feel like the women's community after, like during the first LAN and after the first LAN, it's gonna like really shake up. The skill and experience, like so many girls don't have that LAN experience, and it's really gonna show. If it's something like you don't want to do, it's just gonna feel like a drag. And that's like the worst feeling of it, is when you don't wanna sit on your computer. You just have to really want it. If you don't wanna be involved in the game, or if you don't feel like being a top competitor, everything else is not gonna fall into place. Like the effort, the dedication, the communication, the laziness, like all these things go away or get better if you really want to be the best.